Howdy everyone, and welcome back to The More You Grow. As you can see, I'm back out here at Howdy Farm, just enjoying the day. So we're going to have a lot of episodes out here again. But while I came back to College Station, I found something interesting that I think y'all are going to like. I found giant red hornworm eggs. Just kidding. This is a fruit. This is called Rambutan, and these are pretty rare to find around here just because they're from Southeast Asia. They do not ship well. They may be growing them in California or something like that, but these are kind of hard to find. So I thought I would do a throwback and do a grocery store growing episode and see if we can grow ourselves a rambutan tree. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these. We're going to taste test them, and I'm going to teach you all that you need to know to get these planted up. So let's go check it out. So as I've mentioned, rambutans or rambutans, I don't know how you want to say it, I call it rambutans. They are from Southeast Asia. They're very much a tropical tree, and they're an interesting fruit. This is not how they normally look like. I think these have just been sitting for a little while to where these little spikies on the side are starting to turn brown. I don't know the technical name for these, but the little spikies on the side, that's what we're going to call them. And they're starting to turn brown, where normally, this one still has a little bit on it. They're normally a bright green when they're fresh. These should still be okay because they looked a lot better when I bought them, but it's only been 2 days and they've started to look like this. That's why you usually don't see them in your grocery store. They don't ship well, they don't last long. So if you see fresh ones that look in good shape, eat them as quickly as you can because they won't last long. So how you eat these are you go along the seam here. There's kind of a seam you can see on this one. Take a knife and we're going to cut this outside skin off. And just going to go around, try to cut into this without tearing it up. Don't cut yourself. And we're going to see what's inside of this. So now that we've got this opened up, we've removed the skin. It looks a lot like a grape without the skin on it. And that's kind of what it tastes like to me. We'll do a taste test of this and I'll describe it a little bit better. But the texture is a little bit firmer than a grape. I kind of like that. And there's a large seed in the middle, and that's what we're going to try to plant here in a minute. But first, let's give this a taste test. Honestly guys, it's like a much more tropical tasting grape, but still tastes a lot like a big grape. And kind of the texture is the same as well. And as we eat this off, you'll see inside there's a large seed about the size of an almond. That's kind of what it looks like as well. So I'm going to go ahead and eat the rest of this and I'll show you all the seed. Alright, so we've removed the fruit from our rambutan seed, and as you can see, it looks a lot like a kind of white colored almond. It's a pretty large seed compared to the size of the fruit. And as far as rambutan seeds go, if you want to plant the seeds, they need to come from a fresh fruit. These will not last long outside of the fruit. So the next steps I show you are important. If you're going to delay planting them for a little while until you can get the soil or pots or whatever you need to keep these moist and keep them from drying out. So what I've done is I've got a moist paper towel inside of a baggie, and this should keep them fresh until we decide to plant them here in a few days. Alright guys, it's been a few days since we enjoyed our rambutan fruit and we tasted all that. And what I've done is I put the seeds in this paper towel, this moist paper towel in a baggie to keep them fresh until I could plant them today. So let's open this up and see what our seeds look like. So let's go ahead and open up our baggie here and check out what our seeds look like. See if we got anything. Oh, look at this. We've already got 2 of them sprouting. That is awesome guys. So we at least know these are viable seeds and they will grow. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need to do to get these planted, all the materials we're going to need, and what conditions they prefer to grow in. Alright, so the first thing we need to talk about is the soil for our rambutan seedlings. Rambutan like a soil that is high in organic matter but is well draining. So what I have here is I have a good quality potting soil with lots of organic matter, and I've added a little bit of sand, and that's going to help add a little bit of drainage to our soil, and it's going to loosen up some of these soil particles in our potting soil. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our seedlings and we're going to get these planted. There's a specific way you need to plant rambutan seedlings, and I'm going to show you that next. Okay, now that we've got our containers filled with our potting soil and sand mixture, it's time to get our seeds planted. The way you want to do this is you want to take your seeds, and you don't want to grow them up and down like this. You want to lay them horizontal or flat. And you just want to bury these about an inch or so. Just lightly cover your seeds, enough to where they will stay moist, but they're not going to be too far from the surface to where they can sprout quickly. So I'm going to take the rest of our seeds here and plant them up, laying them flat as possible within our pots. And then after that, we will go to the greenhouse, take these there, and we'll talk about what growing conditions you need for your new rambutan seedlings. Now that we're in the greenhouse, we need to water our seedlings down. Rambutan seedlings like to stay moist but not soggy. So for now, we're going to wet this soil down since it probably needs a little bit of moisture incorporated anyways. As far as water that your rambutan need, I would suggest either using rainwater, spring water, reverse osmosis water, something like that, because a lot of times tropical seedlings can be very sensitive to salinity if you have any of that in your water, or minerals of some kind, or chlorine. So just to play it on the safe side, I would suggest to water these in with some kind of dechlorinated water. And so now let's talk about the growing conditions that your rambutan seedlings need. So rambutan seedlings are all watered in now. Let's talk about the conditions you're going to need to keep these guys happy. Rambutan like to grow in warm, humid environments. So if you can keep them around 80 degrees Fahrenheit and around 75 to 80% humidity, you're going to be looking at some happy rambutan. If you live in an area where you can achieve this naturally year-round outdoors, you're a lucky duck, because you could probably plant these outside. But if you live in areas like I do that gets even just a little bit cold, you're going to have to keep these in containers to keep them alive. I would say you need to keep them above 50 degrees Fahrenheit at all times, and preferably around that 80 degrees Fahrenheit for optimal growth. As far as lighting that you need, rambutan are from tropical Southeast Asia where they grow in the rainforest. So I would say you want to give them partial sun or partial shade, whichever you want to say, for about 13 hours a day if you can do it. I would say if you have somewhere like a porch where it gets really good morning light or really good evening light, that's probably going to be your best bet. You just want to keep them out of the really strong, intense noonday sun. And you can expect these seeds to start growing in about 10 to 20 days. Luckily, we saw that these are already sprouting, so they're well on their way. As far as other conditions, I'll leave a link down below for you to check that out if you want to get some more details. Alrighty guys, well that's all I have for this episode. I'm going to keep you updated on these as they grow. If you want to receive updates and see how these are doing, go check me out on Facebook and Instagram at The More You Grow. I've got links for those down below. That's probably where I'll be posting the updates on our plants from now on after we do these episodes, unless it's something really big that I just want to share in its own video. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you have any more questions for me about anything I did along the way, or have any suggestions for future videos, leave those down in the comments. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to go subscribe to the channel and check us out on Facebook and Instagram like I mentioned before. And be sure to hit that bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I hope you'll join me right here on The More You Grow.